Shazam!
Okay, we are live. I can't see who the people are, but... Okay, so hi guys. We're doing a little... Okay, this one's got a delay. Oh, we got some hearts, yay. Actually, has anyone said... Can someone leave a comment? Because the only thing is, we don't actually have an eye thingy here, except for when I'm using to film. Okay.
Yeah, amazingly, the eye people didn't bring their eye stuff.
Okay, good. We can. Okay, good. We can see comments. We can see comments. Good.
Yay, Lexi.
Yes. Hi, Lexi.
Hello.
See you in a few days. So yes. Okay, yeah, we got you. Okay, so and I should mention, I've got it limited to just people who are following us for commenting, so we don't have problems with trolls. If you don't follow us on. Or if we don't, sorry, it's people that we follow that can comment. I'm not looking at the video right now. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to log into the Knit1Geek2 Twitter account, because if you don't follow us, crap, I don't know if I can fix it on Periscope now. If you don't follow us on, or if we don't follow you on Periscope, but you want to, if you have a question or something, because that's why we're doing this on Periscope, and you want to say something, just send it to the Knit1Geek2 account.
On Twitter?
On Twitter. So just let me log into it. And of course now I can't do the... Nah.
Zen.
I need to change our password so it's not so bloody long.
Zen. We're okay. We're okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, so if you have any questions or anything and we are not following you on Periscope, just send them to the Knit1Geek2 Twitter account. Boop, I will go back over here. Okay. Yeah, so we thought we'd do last year we did a little, guide to Rhinebeck and fiber festivals, and unfortunately the battery on my iPod died, if I remember correctly, before it finished, so it didn't save. So we're doing it again this year, and hopefully this time we'll actually get a video that I can, post on YouTube and have for future reference.
And FYI, the Blue Jays are playing right now.
Yes.
So if you hear noises, say, in the distance...
That is my mother screaming at the baseball game. You might be able to tell how well it's going based on her screams. But yeah, so we figured we'd just do a little sort of guide to Rhinebeck and other fiber festivals. There's some stuff that will be applicable for more than one. Oh dear, I'm getting tons of the table in that shot. Just a second.
Do you need us to move something?
No, it's getting the table that the thing is sitting on because of where the
reflection.
Ah, gotcha.
Here, let me just, I'm gonna fix something for a second. I will pull this back. Oh, crap. Yeah, sorry.
Close up.
The darkness was not things failing. It was me flopping my iPod over. Just make sure I got everybody in the shot. There we go. Okay.
Smack.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a little... It's not fine, Lexi! It's not! It's not up to my standards. Okay, there we go. That's better. As I watch myself adjust it. Yeah, so we're doing... This is just sort of a little guide to... It's applicable to more than just Rhinebeck. We'll have some general strategies for fiber festivals, but there will be some Rhinebeck-specific stuff in there.
Yeah.
I think we can start off with the preparation, the advanced preparation you need to do for Rhinebeck. Which at this point, if you haven't booked a place to stay...
Oh, that part. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about the crazy.
Yeah, well, I've got my crazy in the bag right here.
Yes, the sweater. How far in advance should one plan a Rhinebeck sweater?
January at my rate.
That's pretty much.
With my track record, January.
Yeah, I'm usually January too. I'm on a bit of a cycle where I start my Rhinebeck sweater right after Madrona, and I start my Madrona sweater right after Rhinebeck.
Yeah, I started mine in April this year because I knew I was doing a big batch of fingering weight crazy, in which I can show people, in case you didn't see the video the other night, the sweater has become again. It has been steeked. Which reminds me, I should post that video in the Ravelry group. Ta-da! Steek!
Beautiful.
I'm just doing the button bands now. I've got one button
say,
band done.
okay, so you've got one done. Good.
And I've got the other one started. I just need to figure out the button placement.
Yes.
But hopefully that will get done tomorrow so I can wash it.
Very beautiful.
But yes, when it comes to like actual planning for Rhinebeck, of course the other important thing is like how you're gonna get there and how long you're going for and whether you're gonna need somewhere to stay for that amount of time. In which case, if you haven't figured these things out yet, you're kind of out of luck. Unless you live like let's say 2 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, then you can always run out for the day sort of thing.
Or you're going for an adventure and you're going to camp underneath a tree somewhere.
Which might be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
They say
saying.
farmer comes after you with his gun.
I'm just saying.
Or if I
Did say it was a good idea.
you know, maybe if you don't mind staying like well far away from it, there might be something left in say Poughkeepsie or like further
Woodstock,
south
yeah.
or if you don't mind paying quite a bit, there might be something left. But generally we started looking at places in May?
Yep.
Yeah. Had it booked by like June, July.
Mm-hmm.
Especially depending on the number of people you're going with.
Because some of our options were already taken as well.
Yeah, there was a couple houses we had sort of put in we have a spreadsheet that we make. And a couple options had disappeared by the time we actually were making a decision.
Yeah, it was like a Google spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google Docs spreadsheet,
Google
basically.
Docs spreadsheet.
Which is good because then we can share it with everybody and everybody can click on
Yay
the
for
links
Google Docs, that's all I can say. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Everybody can click on the links to see the places and stuff like that.
And everybody puts in input.
Yeah, we booked the same house for about 7 years now, and we always, right after Rhinebeck, send her an email to say same time next year.
When do you want the money?
Yeah, so it's kind of like coming home. It's really kind of cool because we're really familiar with the house, and we it looks like the weather's going to be really spectacular this year. So I'm kind of excited about sitting on the back deck, and maybe we're going to take our spinning wheels, and we're going for the full week. So, and a lot of places are requiring, because the festivals become so popular, a lot of places are requiring a full week commitment, which is hard
especially
for
the ones in Rhinebeck are, which is also the thing. Like, there are still places like earlier this year when we were looking, there were still places available in Rhinebeck. They were just a lot more expensive than anywhere else, and there wasn't very many of them. So you'll probably have to stay not in Rhinebeck. And there's the city sort of just across the Hudson River from Rhinebeck. There's Kingston, and they have quite a few hotels and motels and things, including like Best Western, Holiday Inn, that sort of stuff. And they get booked up pretty quickly. But hi, KJD Knits.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, and more busy. And there is on the Rhinebeck Ravelry group, there is a thread about accommodations, and people will say like, hey, I booked here and they still have rooms left, or even people will be like, hey, I can't go this year, so I just canceled my room at this hotel. If you call them really quick, it might still be open. So you can look there to check for accommodations and things, or suggestions for accommodations and things, or find reviews for people who've stayed there before. But generally, probably your option is going to be staying either in Kingston. Woodstock is sort of near Kingston, a little further into the Catskills. And that's where we'll be staying, sort of just outside Woodstock. We did last year, too. There's Saugerties, which is further up the Hudson. And then, of course, on the same side of the Hudson as Rhinebeck, there's Poughkeepsie, about half an hour, 40 minutes away, I think. And a few other small sort of places. You can also, there's there's things like you can obviously check like Expedia and things like that for hotels, but I think a lot of people now, especially because of the area, because there's a lot of vacation homes, a lot of people are going with Airbnb.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Airbnb options.
My boss just came back from Italy, and he said they did all Airbnb, and it was awesome. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And with Airbnb, it's the best thing is, check the reviews that are there.
Yeah.
For that person. Have a few options, because there's been a couple years now where, we've decided on an option, and then, last year it was like the person wanted to discuss stuff with people before booking it, but it was really hard to get a hold of them. So we just were like, okay, no, we'll go with the second option. This year, we thought according to the website, the place was available for that weekend, but they were like, oh, actually, we're not renting it out during October. Well, then update your calendar on Airbnb, please, people. So we went with another option, that sort of thing. And most of the ones that we were looking at, I noticed, had a fairly strict booking thing, in the sense that, if you booked it, it was yours, but you couldn't cancel it more than, or less than a week in advance without paying some hefty
cancellation
fees, which, also means that the renter can't really cancel it without, on a whim, basically, as far as I understand. So, and it's kind of a nice option for if you've got more than 2 or 3 people. Have a little house all to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about these festivals is you might start off going on your own, but then you collect people along the way. I mean, that's been my observation, is that you meet people on the internet, you meet people at the festivals, and year after year, you just kind of start to band together.
Yeah, or people, where you live, and then, the year after, someone's like, oh, hey, I'd like to go too, and year after that, someone else is like, oh, hey, I'd like to go, or do you guys have any room in your house? And or, people, knitters online, and they're like, hey, I'm thinking of going to Rhinebeck. Anybody have a house that they're renting? Like I did a couple years ago. First time I went. So, and it's nice to have a place to go back to with, its own kitchen and, an actual little house.
Yeah.
It was so nice last year going back to the house after the Saturday and, putting out all the food on the big coffee table.
I loved that.
And just having a fire in the fireplace.
Everybody had picked up little bits and pieces of food from the agricultural barn.
Yeah.
With all the specialty cheeses and breads and sausages, and we just basically had tapas for dinner.
Well, see, I think that's a smart way to do it. We're probably overthinking it a little bit because everybody's taking a meal. But I said to everybody, we'll just do charcuterie. And just, we'll probably stop, because I'm driving, on our way into town, there's a big, beautiful, I think it's a Wegmans.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll stop and grab a whole bunch of groceries. But I like your plan of just kind of laying out a spread and having at it type thing. So makes it nice and easy. Nobody has to slave.
And let's face it, we're going to go back to the house, take out all of our stuff, and maybe start knitting with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a plate or a bowl, okay, fine. But just a cracker or two with, say, some sliced meats and the cheese, and and then I can go back to knitting. It's fantastic. And there is wine involved almost every night.
Oh, yes. Don't get me started on the wine. Because this is the first year we're going up for a whole week. It started as 3 days, then went to 5 days, and now it's the whole week. And I'm the self-appointed sommelier for the group, so I'm literally bringing up 6 or 7 bottles of sparkling wine, because we have to have champagne every night, right? So
have to.
Yeah.
It's the only way knitting makes sense.
And then various other wines to pair with the meals. So,
whereas for some of us, just substitute in bacon.
Yeah. Actually, Michelle, you want to scooch over a little bit?
Yep.
A little bit. Okay, just to get you a little bit more completely in the shots and not just
there's
totally just half your face.
a plug here. We'll snuggle.
Yes. We'll snuggle.
So also in advance of actually going, like you had mentioned, Michelle, anticipating the weather. None of us anticipated it snowing last year.
Well, that wasn't predicted, was it?
No,
that
it wasn't.
I don't think so. That was a surprise. It was predicted to be fairly cold. So I mean, best thing is to keep an eye on the weather for the area for those days, especially like within like the week or two beforehand, and just keep checking too, because it will change as it gets closer to the dates. It was planned to be pretty cold.
Right.
But I don't think there was any forecast really for snow that day. Though I found like really last year, the snow was it was surprising. It was like, what the hell? But the main thing about that day wasn't the snow.
The biting wind.
It was the wind and how cold it was.
Well, and just the way those fairgrounds are situated.
Yeah.
It is a real wind tunnel. So I have been there years where it's gotten windy and bitterly cold. It doesn't look like it this year. It's looking like, I think this morning I looked, 18 and sunny on Saturday, and I think 20 and sunny on Sunday.
Yeah, I think last time I checked it was slightly lower than that, maybe like 17 and 18.
Well, that would be about perfect for sweater weather.
Yeah, well, a little colder maybe.
Yeah.
I could certainly do with it getting a little colder. But yeah, this is one of the cases where, again, hey, Marsha! I just spotted Marsha. That's the name on there. Hi, Rumi. It's the same thing they always tell you when you're traveling. Make sure you wear layers.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with layers.
Unfortunately, it's just true.
Yeah. And I mean, depending on where you park and how easy it is to get back out to the car, there is the option of like running back out to the car, dropping off stuff, and coming back. Also depending on how much you're purchasing. But yeah, a few like light layers that will keep you warm might be best in case you end up carrying some of them during the day. I know last year I actually had because it was supposed to be really cold that one day, I brought my thermal undershirt and my thermal underpants. Well, pants. And I don't think I took them off. That day. No, I didn't take them off, but it was, it's an option. It's fairly light. They scrooch down pretty small in my bag if I had to shed them. Other things for preparing, just getting there, you've got a couple options. Basically, the main highways go up one side of the Hudson, and the train line goes up the other side. The train line goes on the Rhinebeck side, actually stopping at Rhinecliff. So if you're taking the train to get there, and hopefully someone's picking you up, or you can get cabs from the Rhinecliff station to Kingston. I don't know how much they cost. It's about a 20-minute drive. So there's that option either, and that one goes from, well, in our case, it goes from Buffalo to New York, so New York City. And Amtrak goes to Rhinecliff if you're coming up from New York. Amtrak goes to Rhinecliff. The Metro, I think it is, MTA, I think, if I remember correctly which train line it is, goes up to Poughkeepsie. And there is actually a shuttle from Poughkeepsie to the fairgrounds, the 2 2 main days of the fair. And then going up the other side is Adirondack Trailways, the bus system, which goes to Kingston and Woodstock and Saugerties and all the smaller towns, sort of on that side. And then the nearest airports would probably be either New York or Albany. Albany's a smaller airport, so.
Philly, I think Philly's about an hour away.
Yeah.
Philadelphia. I've flown in there for Rhinebeck before. The first couple of years I went.
Oh, Lexi just said something to the one to Poughkeepsie. Sorry, I missed the first part of your message.
Yeah, so the vendors this year looks like a fabulous list. Lots of indie dyers.
Yeah, because that's of course the other preparation thing.
How much you're going to spend.
Yes.
Metro North.
Metro North, that's it. Metro North goes to Poughkeepsie. Yeah, that's the other thing, is then figuring out how much you're going to spend. Which case it would be a good chance, especially if you're staying somewhere and you have to factor in transportation and meals and accommodations and everything. Doing a budget is generally a good thing.
Budgets are for wimps.
Budgets are for people
yes.
who have larger salaries than some of us do.
No, it's I do have a budget. I just saw that on a mug once and thought it was funny. I agree. Budgeting is very good. At least, even if not down to the penny, at least
ballpark.
Yeah, I don't typically look at it in terms of dollars so much, although that's obviously the way it rolls out. I look at it more, okay, these are kind of the 2 or 3 things that I'm after. Mm-hmm. And, I know in my mind it'll roughly be X, Y, Z, and
well, I mean, I do have a fairly full budget, especially because we have to deal with the exchange, which right now is...
Yeah, I just went today and got some more money. Yeah.
What's the exchange right now?
It was like one American dollar cost us like $1.32 or something.
Yeah,
okay.
It's
gone down the last couple of days.
I think it was $136 for $100 I paid today.
Yeah, when you add on the bit that the bank takes.
Yeah. The currency exchange place at the mall tends to be a little more reasonable.
Yeah, so basically what I do is when I do my budget, I have like a little line for each thing. So I have, travel, I have accommodation, like all the different accommodations we have, my general spending, food/booze budget. And I do one column, which is all the amounts in American dollars, and one column where I just multiply everything in the American dollar to, like, this year I think I multiplied it by 1.33.
That's my standard as well.
Which gave me a little bit more, a couple months ago gave me a little bit more leeway. And then, like, as I actually pay for things, like, I change the amounts and, like, put in the final amounts in Canadian so that I know exactly how much I'm spending, because I'm good. Because it's, it's easy to have a little bit going here and going here and going here and not really realize exactly how much you're spending. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to things like, maple cotton candy and hot chocolate on the day, and then...
Oh, that damn caramel corn.
A Rhinebeck bag.
Apple cider donuts.
Apple cider donuts.
So, I mean, and most of my stuff, like the food budget is sort of really super ballpark and very loose. And then the spending budget is a little bit more...
Defined?
A little bit more defined. It's more like, okay, this is how much cash I will have, or this is how much I will put aside, depending on... I also, this year... started, like, every paycheck, I would just take out, like, $40 and stick it in a jar.
Yeah.
And occasionally, like, put in a little more, especially if I forgot to put some in or didn't end up putting some in one paycheck or something. And that has grown to a nice little nest egg, which has been very good considering all the expenses I've had thanks to my cat lately. So that money is off.
Yeah, off the grid. Yeah.
Off. It is not in my bank account, therefore it doesn't exist. So that's for, like, so that I sort of budget, like, okay, this is how much cash I'll probably bring. There might be other credit card expenses, though this year I'm probably going to be trying to keep that to a minimum, considering how much is already on the credit card.
Have you advised of travel? I did that today.
I'm going to do that on Wednesday.
So you call the credit card companies, if you are, as we are, coming from Canada.
They don't listen. Last year they didn't listen.
Well, apparently because you're at a festival with vendors from all over the country, it can get flagged. So
which is what happened last year.
What I did was I said, I'm traveling, here's where I'm going, but I'm going to a festival with a variety of vendors. So they did make note of that, and we'll see if it works.
Here's a hint. If the things that are coming up on my credit card have yarn,
fiber
in the title.
Yarn, wool, fiber, sheep. Any of that.
Now, the other thing this year, the other thing, especially if you're Canadian and you're traveling, and you're going to the States, which doesn't use this as much, apparently. One of the things is you might want to use cash more in certain occasions and certain places because a lot of places in the States still do the swipey of cards, of credit cards.
Swipey.
And that isn't as secure as the chip and pin that we use here. And last year, I think I mentioned on the podcast about how there ended up being a bunch of fraudulent charges on my credit card after Rhinebeck. So, from when I went away. So, I'm thinking I'm pretty sure it wasn't at the fair itself.
I was going to say, was it?
Because most of the people there use Square, and I have never had a problem with Square.
Yeah.
I think it was probably one of the other places, the diner we went to in Poughkeepsie the night before or something like that. I think that was probably it. So, Lexi, a little behind. And now we have the thing called Tap, where you just tap your credit card.
Oh my gosh, that is dangerous.
But, so that's something to consider too, bring cash, because it's a bit more, cash, yes, it can get stolen, but...
You also have a very good barometer of how much of it is leaving you.
Yes, how much is left. Yeah.
And...
Even if all their money does look the same.
Yeah, so bland.
So... So you have that visual reminder of how much you're actually spending, as opposed to, I'll just, put this in the credit card. I'll just put this in the credit card. And then you get the credit card bill and it's like, oh, I didn't think it was that much.
You never think it's that much.
Nope. And then you get the bill. Give you and then part of that too is as part of your budgeting, like you were saying, they have the vendor list on the site, so you can go on the site, you can check out all the vendors that are there, the hundreds of vendors that are there, and sort of have an idea if you want to, because some people this is their one time they buy yarn all year.
Oh.
I have heard that there are these people. I don't know how they live, especially considering, I think it was the people from Brooklyn that told me this about someone they knew who bought all her yarn at Rhinebeck. And it's like, girl, you live in New York City. What the hell is wrong with you? But, depending on, it depends on, what you want. If you just want to go and just see what's there, okay. You don't have to do a whole bunch of preparation. If you have an idea of something, if you have an idea of what you kind of want to look for there, if you want to keep to a certain budget or if you're not as good with the self-control when you're on the pretties, because if you have really good self-control and you can just go and be like, oh yeah, that's really nice, and not actually buy it, then good for you. Maybe not so much. So then you can
and
go
there's nothing I can say to you either to get you out of the booth either.
Not really, no.
No, there's no Jiminy Cricket for that weekend.
I come by my enabling honestly. It's not like I don't fall down hard.
Karen, are you sure you really need that? Shut up.
Okay. Nope, I don't, but I wants it. But then sometimes when you just want things and you just buy them, this is what they become later on.
Oh,
so there you go. Because this was from
Rhinebeck
the first year, and it was sort of an impulse buy. So, so you can go, if you want to do some planning, you can go through the vendor list, see what vendors are there. I think it'll even have their locations.
Yes, it does. It does say B15 or whatever building and booth number there.
Yeah, and think about, what sort of things you might want to get. If you want to, think about what projects you want to do. If there's anything in particular that you want to do.
And it's not just yarn. It's the bags, it's the needles, it's specialty handmade buttons, it's
Ooh, I should show you guys the buttons I got yesterday for this, actually.
Okay.
Where did you get them?
Pinned it in Hamilton.
Oh, you were in Hamilton?
Yes,
you
I
were
went
in
to
the
Hamilton,
Hammer.
and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Yarn store, I can go there for buttons. So yeah, there's all sorts of, there's like specialty buttons and clasps, there's all sorts of knitting and spinning and weaving tools, there's, fiber and all sorts of other cool stuff. So, you can take a look through the list and see what, if there's any, particular dyers you want to get something from, or if you want, like I said, if you want to get something for a particular project where you might be able to get it. With a lot of them, if they have a website, you will be able to go to their website and like pre-shop, basically, or see what kind of things they have, so you can see like, oh, that still looks like a place I might be interested in going. So you can sort of have a bit of a game plan, because the thing is too, like with Rhinebeck, and this is a good, this sort of stuff, like kind of the budgeting, like I don't do as much like budgeting for like the knitters for all like, but like checking the vendor list and seeing what you might like is good for pretty much any fiber festival. But Rhinebeck is just so much bigger.
Yeah.
It is so huge.
There is also a notable difference between the Saturday and the Sunday crowd.
Yeah.
And also we found that Saturday night, a lot of the vendors will put up these extra deals.
Yeah.
So like extra 15% off for Sunday at Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
And
like Into the World last year, they said like, hey, we've got this one display unit that we're filling with yarn right now, and it's, on X discount. And everybody in our house saw this on Instagram and was like, what? Oh my God.
Resolve.
So is Instagram where it's announced typically? Or?
Instagram, Twitter,
Facebook. If they're doing like an impromptu sale, they might post it on their Facebook or their Twitter or their Instagram.
I've got so much into the world that I still haven't whirled yet. So
yeah, I was thinking the other day, like, have I knit with any of my yarn from Rhinebeck from last year?
Yeah, I have. Even the roving that I purchased, because I've been much more focused on fleeces that I've purchased and spinning that. So I'm kind of into the natural stuff as opposed to the stuff that's really prepared and dyed. So
yeah, and and there's a lot of those vendors. There's a lot of independent farms at the festival too. So you might want to decide like, hey, this year I'm going to try and get stuff from like individual farms or like specific breeds and things like that too. But especially because Rhinebeck is so huge, it does help to go in with a bit more of a game plan than I maybe otherwise would at other fiber festivals, just because, like, the Knitters Frolic, we get there at 9:30, and generally we can have done a lap of all the booths pretty much by noon.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even like 11.
Yeah.
11:30. That's usually when we have lunch. And we can have done the lap, at least see what booths are there and get an idea of what they have within like an hour and a half. Rhinebeck, if you really tried just to do a whole lap just to see what was there and not really look in detail at anything in the booth, you might get it done the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially considering the crowds.
Oh, yeah. There's so many different buildings, and especially if you're traveling in a pack, it just takes
and
longer.
Trying to keep track of the pack?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, there's another hint. Definitely make sure you have everybody's
cell phone
numbers so you can text and find out.
Where the hell are you?
When in doubt, meet on the hill for lunch.
I was going to say, when in doubt, head for the mariachi band.
God, yeah, the flute band. They're a very good landmark. You can hear them across the entire fairgrounds.
Yeah. God bless them. Yeah, it really adds to the ambiance. So in terms of, is there something that you covet this year? What is in the budget this year?
I don't know. See, last year I had much more of an idea
of
what I was going for. This year I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of
part
in the same boat.
See, part of me, and this may be the delusional part of my brain, is like, I'm not sure how much yarn I really need this year. And the rest of my brain is like, that's cute. That's cute. That's going to stick around for about 5 minutes by the time we get there.
When has the word need ever been a factor?
But, and I mean, that's, thinking about any other preparation stuff. Anybody else know what they are looking for or keeping in mind?
Not a thing.
You know, I always love to get one of those cute little bags. Is it
Jessalou?
Yeah, Jessalou. Thanks. I couldn't remember the name. I'm gonna have to make sure I go there earlier this year. I wasn't there till the second day, and things were picked over. So I will definitely go there early on. There's a new design that I actually saw at the Knitters Fair that Fiona Ellis did called Adelaide and Spadina, which is a subway stop in Toronto, and it's using indigo dragonfly yarn, a DK weight, and it's stunning. She says in the write-up that the inspiration for the colors was the movie, what's that movie with Edme, the Danish Girl. Yeah. I guess there was a costume in the Danish Girl that was all like a blue and gray stripe with a little hint of mustard yellow. So it's got like this little band of lace and then the kind of bluey gray and a teal blue stripe, and it's really beautiful. I'm probably going to do it in different colors, but I love the asymmetry of the design.
It was beautiful when I saw it.
I really, really do. And it had a little panel of lace across the back, the upper back as well. So I think I'm going to be looking at colors because Kim will be there. She will be sharing, that's Indigo Dragonfly, a booth with Jenny the Potter. Mm-hmm. And I'm picking up a mug that I pre-ordered from Jenny. She's doing one with a bicycle on it.
Yeah. For me. Yeah, and that's one. Is she open for general pre-orders for Rhinebeck?
No. I think just she had done. She'd done one with a bicycle, like a sale on her Etsy store that sold out.
Yeah, so not the Rhinebeck mug. Basically.
No. This is a. Yeah, because
Rhinebeck mug is the Hunger Games.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so I got one last year, which I adore, the Frankensheep.
Yeah.
And I've been using it constantly.
Are her birch designs the new Rhinebeck mug, or is it the flowers that are new?
Could be. Yeah, usually she does something whimsical for Rhinebeck, but we'll see. But yeah, Kim will have some brand new colors, so I'm excited to see what they are. And I always fall down at Harrisville and the Brooklyn tweed, which I'm knitting now. So this is my Rhinebeck sweater. It's Albie by Brooklyn Tweed.
Show it off.
So you'll see me wearing this, hopefully, by Saturday. So I just have to finish the last sleeve and put it together, which I will probably do at the house.
Yeah, this is my Rhinebeck. Here we go. Because Maggie don't make Rhinebeck sweaters.
I love that.
It's beautiful.
I've got the skein that I got in the slightly different colorway.
You got Kim's Barn.
Kim's Barn. But I downloaded I think it's a Martina Bain pattern, Brickless I think it's called. And it's like a little scarf, but that is really cool.
Yeah, the only other thing in general, any other general sort of planning, pre-trip planning things?
Comfortable shoes.
Comfortable shoes.
You
wear
are
comfortable
going to be
shoes.
walking.
Yeah.
Pack comfortable shoes. And I think, like in general, like usually with my packing list, what I try and do is I try and start it like at least a week. I make a list, and I make a list of what goes in the suitcase and what goes in the carry-on because we're taking the train. And basically I try and do it just far in advance too, so that when I have those moments of, oh, I need to bring that thing, I can scribble it down. And that gives me more time to have those moments before we actually go, so it's not the last minute like, oh God, what do I need to put in here? Now saying that, I haven't started my packing list this year because I've been doing other things. So any other sort of
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just, again, passport.
Don't forget your
That would be a bad thing
passport.
to forget.
Check, like 5 times.
Yes. Yeah, like the night before I was going a couple years ago, and it was 11 o'clock at night, and my passport was in my purse. I saw it there, and I don't know what made me pull it out, but I did. And I opened it up, and it was my son's passport.
Ooh. Which is a good thing to find out.
Well, except I didn't know where mine was.
Yeah.
It wasn't where I normally filed it, and so panic ensued. And after about an hour of searching, I did locate it in a purse. I had changed purses months before, but then I laid in bed all night. Of course, now the adrenaline's been surging, right? So try sleeping after that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're coming from Canada, check your passport a few months beforehand, just to double check that your passport is not expiring.
Yeah.
Before the fair, because you don't want to find out about that at the last minute either, because that can get incredibly expensive.
Yes.
So I think that's it for planning. Now, as for at Rhinebeck, we actually had someone on Twitter ask a question. Hi, Lindsay. So Lindsay asked, how do you suggest tackling the marketplace? Not able to go this year, but we'll be going to a festival in May. Well, like we said, okay, first step in that is, as we said in the planning section, it helps to take a look and see who the vendors are and make a list of any that you really, really have to get to, especially if you get the sense, or if you already know that they're going to be very popular vendors like Miss Babs, or The Fold, or Miss Babs, or Into the World can be fairly busy on the first day too. Yeah. So that you have an idea of if there's any, and sort of gauge whether these are ones that you're like, I need to get here for this thing, so therefore I need to go there first on the first day sort of thing. Or if it's like, I really want to take a look at their stuff, so I want to get there while there's still quite a bit there, but it doesn't have to be first thing, so I'll go later on the first day, or I'll just leave it till the second day or whatever. And as for when you get there, again, depending on how much you want a thing, will depend on how early you get there. I mean, we've gotten there, I think we got there around 10:30 last year.
Yeah, so there was no lineup.
There was no real lineup to get in to the fair.
And it is big enough that you don't exactly cross the threshold and you're suddenly in a throng of people and you can't move.
Yeah. You
can wiggle your way through and see and get to any of the jumbo barns.
Yeah.
If you need to go directly to the Fold, you can get there. There's not going to be a throng of people stopping you.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
until you get to the booth.
Until you get to the booth itself is going to be thronged.
Yeah.
Especially the first day and especially before 2.
But it's generally fairly easy to move around the areas until you get into the barns, especially if there's a place that's a couple places that are really popular in the barns themselves, whether the small ones or the big ones. It can get pretty crowded around those booths. But if you're going straight past, you can sort of try and stick to the middle of the aisleway and kind of, push your way through. If you're just trying to get past those. Other than that, my sort of trick the last couple of years for navigating the marketplace has just been sort of starting in one place. Usually we enter at the 4-H gate, which is really the one that most people come through because it's right near most of the parking. But it's the one near all the smaller barns. So we just start going through the smaller barns, like back and forth. And what I do is I get the print copy of the program, and I have a pen that I clip onto it. And then when I'm going through the barns, if I see something where I'm like, oh, that stuff looks nice, I might want to get something from there. I don't feel need to. There's nothing there that I'm like, I have to buy this now, because as I mentioned on the podcast before, my gauge is like, am I going to kick myself if I come back later today or tomorrow and this is gone? Am I going to be kicking myself 3 months from now that I did not get that skein of yarn? If the answer is no, I can keep walking. But in that case, if it's someplace where I might want to buy something, but I don't need to buy it right this second so that I make sure I get it, I pull out the program, find the place on the list of names, and I put a little star next to it, and sometimes write a little note next to it of what it was that I was looking at. But so I'll just mark it so I know where it is. So the next day it's not like, oh, there was that gorgeous yarn I saw and I can't remember where it was, and there's 500 barns to knit all of the damn thing.
It's in the barn. Yeah.
It's in the barn.
It's in the small barns.
It's in the barn next to the sheep thing.
Yeah, it's in the small barns. Okay, which of the 18 small barns was it in? You know, well, not the one. Well, other than not the ones that have like the breed study in it. So like I found that to be really good to sort of keep track of like stuff I'm interested in, but that I'm not getting right that second.
Yeah, and I just dive in and zigzag, and there's no rhyme or reason, and I'm sure I miss a lot of stuff that way. We come in the back gate because we walk from the house. And
the Mulberry Street gate.
Yeah, where the food court is. That's where the.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I remember that now. I discovered that very late.
So it's yeah. I mean, I think Karen's plan of attack makes the most sense. Because you're right. You know, you see something, and I suppose I could just take a picture with my camera. Like if I see something, like take to make.
So you need to get like the name, the sign with the name of the place in it, or something like that, so that then you're like, oh, that skein was really pretty. I really like it. Which booth was it at? What was the thing I was just about to say? The other thing too was I was going to say, like, it also depends on how much time you're spending there, especially at Rhinebeck. Again, you know, at other fiber festivals, a lot of them you can cover within like a few hours. You can go through every booth. Or, you know, it depends on how long you'll be staying at them. If you're just, you know, if the group of people you're with are planning to leave at like 1 o'clock or whatever. Or if you don't get there till like noon or something. But with Rhinebeck, especially because it's over 2 days, if you're only going to be there for 1 day, if you really want to see everything, you're going to have to motor.
Yeah.
And be like really fast and really decisive.
And maybe have your elbows out.
I would say, like, if you're coming from anywhere other than, like, you know, maybe 2 hours away, I'd really suggest staying the weekend if you can. Just because it's also really nice just to sit back and relax with other knitters. And
I remember last year we sat on that hill right next to the line for the apple cider donuts, and we all were just enjoying the sunshine and knitting and people watching, and it was really nice.
Just take a break. Because if you can, like, and staying the 2 days is also really nice because then you can move through the barns at a much more leisurely pace. You can pace yourself. If you want to, you can sit down and relax because there's a lot of walking and a few little hills up and down. And it's just, and especially considering it is so crowded, it can be so crowded, being able to just relax and go through at your own pace makes it less stressful than if you're trying to run from place to place to place to place. And it also gives you a good way that it also helps in tackling the marketplace if you're staying 2 days, because then you have that whole, like, that evening you have that time to sit back and reflect and be like, okay, what did I see today that I really want? Or what do I really need to go back to tomorrow?
I find that that's where it all solidifies for me. That night, that first night where I can sit back and say, okay, this is what I want. Now I can hone in.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, usually the vendors will have a sale that day because a lot of them don't want to take
it
back.
Some of them. Some of them. I will not. You know, some of them too, if you're staying the 2 days and you can stay late on the second day, some of them might be dropping the price a little bit just because they don't, around like 3 o'clock, just because they don't want to have to lug it back with them.
I know what else it is I want to get. I got, there's one of the barns, that narrows it down.
Yeah.
But they have these undershirts that are merino. And they're really fine merino undershirt. And I got one for my husband because he works in shipping where the doors are open a lot in winter and whatnot. And I think I'd like one for myself just for going for walks and stuff. It's a really great warm undershirt. So I think I'm going to get one of those.
When you see that, point that out to me because I might have to get one of those for my mother.
Okay, right.
intriguing.
So, yeah, so I'd forgotten about that. So, yeah, I should probably be giving a little more thought to what it is I do want. The food. Should we talk about the food?
Yes. The other thing about like going there, and it's the bit preparation, but also the day of, is like, yes, when it comes to food, there are a lot of like places selling like fair food. So if you really want to get your funnel cake on, or your
hot dogs,
cotton candy, popcorn, French fries,
that's
burgers,
all
that
there.
sort of thing. They have all that. There are a few other places. They have some sort of specialty food places. Like, I know there's some that I think have had like lamb and like goat cheese or whatever, like ravioli and other sort of slightly more upscale food stuff.
I think there were lamb skewers last year.
Yeah.
That I found
most of the specialty places are geared around lamb.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of lamb. And they're pretty good with dietaries, because I'm celiac, so I have to be gluten-free, and I never had too much trouble finding lots of choice.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
but as with any other, like, big day out where you're going to be wandering around a lot, it also helps to have, like, to bring bottled water, bring, granola bars or something like that. I've got some stuff that I'll be bringing because I know we probably might not have a chance to get some breakfast before we get on the train on Friday.
Yay.
I've got these like little oatmeal breakfast bars that I found that are really good, and if you've got it, like bring a banana, apple, that sort of stuff that you can carry around, is not going to weigh a lot, is going to keep all right when it's in a bag.
Preferably something that will not spill over any of your new purchases.
Yes. Yeah. If you're bringing water or whatever, make sure there's a nice tight fitting lid. But, so which is sort of the same thing, especially because it's sort of sort of a general guide for any, big event that you go to. Especially because, there are a ton of people there. Like, I think they say over the weekend it's like 17,000 people.
Really?
Yeah. It's a lot of people. Especially because, you've got like a couple hundred vendors for all the fibery stuff. But you've also got like all the sheep judging and stuff like that. And that's something too, if you want to take a break and sit down for a little while, there's always the sheep judging, or like
the auction,
that sort of thing. There's bleachers there. You can take a seat and just relax for a little while and see the cute little sheep. And they have like goat jumping contests and stuff.
Hug a lamb.
Yeah. So you can, where was my train of thought going?
Taking a break, sheep judging.
Yeah, that's another good place to take a break. But also,
17,000 people.
Yes, that was it. There are like a lot of people there because it's also, kind of like just a fall festival, and people who are not knitters, are not knitters or spinners or something like that, will go with their family to like see the sheep and, go to the specialty food barn and stuff like that, and go to the, get the fair food places and stuff like that. So because of that, especially, around certain times, like the main place near the hill that sells like hot dogs and hamburgers and stuff like that can get super busy. So like if you can have some, food with you to eat at various times, that way you can make sure you're not like super hungry, but also maybe help you like put lunch off like, an hour or two until things aren't as busy. So you're not standing in line for 10-15 minutes just to get a hamburger.
Similarly, I would find the bathrooms.
Yes.
Because the central bathrooms that
know where the bathrooms are.
Right behind the pan flute
band, yeah.
Yeah, that one's always a huge lineup.
Yeah, there are a couple different sites for bathrooms, so make sure you find them. The one that, like I said, you said the one that's right behind the pan flute band is like the main one. There is another one over in the middle of the small barns.
Yes. Which
is not always as busy. There's one over near a couple of the bigger barns, which is sometimes not as busy, but especially if you're a woman, you guys know, like, the longest lineup is always for the ladies' bathroom. So, be aware of where the bathrooms are, and maybe just, when you're not feeling the tickle to go, just make a pit stop just to be sure. Because you don't want to get to the point where it's like, oh god, I gotta pee right now, and you end up in a huge lineup. And there's also a really good hot chocolate place right next to the one that's near the one that's by the small barns.
I remember the hot chocolate place being right next to, well, one of the hot chocolate places being right next to the sheep auction.
Yeah, it's right in that area.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bathroom place near there. There's also ATMs there. So, keep an idea if another good reason to plan the cash thing is so that you don't have to run to an ATM.
Yes.
Especially because the ATMs, they'll charge you service fees for it.
Well, and it's, I was just thinking about, lost my train of thought. It's been a long weekend. But, I know, just the fleeces are fun to check out. I think, is it building B or C?
B, I think it's the middle one.
Yeah, and there's also, it looks like a lot of really cool books being released this year.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of books.
Yeah, so that's the other thing that's on my list is to check some of those out. And I'm being very picky these days about, because I have so many books, anything that comes into the house has to be really good, but some of them are looking pretty interesting.
Yeah, I might be screwed when it comes to the books this year. Because I looked at like, oh god, these look really interesting. And I know of a couple more I might be looking for there.
And so which books are you interested in?
I would have to look at the list again to remind myself.
It's Thanksgiving weekend here, people.
Yeah.
So people are going in and out of food comas.
Yeah.
And there's
Our
also
big one is tomorrow.
And the Blue Jays game. So, forgive us if our brains aren't completely sparking right now.
I mean, for one thing, I know the Cooperative Press book. I think Cooperative Press is going to have, some stuff there. And there is that, I forget if it's Cooperative Press or not now, actually, that I think about it. But there is the Franklin Habit Knitter's Coloring Book.
Oh,
Is there? I've never heard of this.
You have never heard of this?
No.
Okay. I'm going to show this to you while we're here. And there's also, I know because there was also and I might, considering in that case they do have like PDF versions, I might just restrict myself to getting the PDF version, but there was a book with really pretty mitten patterns in it. From Cooperative Press.
So what some of the artisanal food vendors, that you spoke of, the meats and the cheeses and whatnot.
Yeah.
What are some of the good ones I should look out for?
Well, I know.
I can't remember their names.
No, I can't remember their names. I remember what was sold. I remember honey was sold. Fudge was sold.
Yeah.
I remember the maple cotton candy. Because people brought that back to the house.
Yeah. They're like, oh my god.
Because it was good. There was goats, cheese. There were different kinds of cheeses.
Well, there's one place that always has has lamb and stuff like that when you first enter the door. That's along the right, and they always have like this huge long lineup because they have like a table, a long table, and they have samples of cheese, and you can just walk down the line. You can just get in line, and as you walk past, just grab a little sample of cheese, as you go.
Yeah.
There's places that have like sausages, or like cured meats. All different kinds of like, small farm, like local cheeses and, olives and pickles and.
Yep. And that was the same barn that had their sheep to shawl competition.
Yeah, they have the sheep to shawl competition. That's where they have all the display of all the stuff. Again, stuff where you can, if you need to take a little break, you can always take a look at the stuff that they have, because they have the judging for different items. By the way, the Franklin Habit coloring book is called I Dream of Yarn.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
I'm showing them pictures right now.
Of course, that's how our yarn store would look.
Donald Trump would love this book.
So yes, I kind of want it.
Yeah.
Growing bulky worsted lace yarn. Oh, if only. But yeah, it looks really cute and I kind of want it. So I might be keeping an eye out for that while I'm there.
Did you get your tickets?
Not yet. Jinx!
I did.
Yeah, I need to order online.
Yeah. There is a thing, if you're getting your tickets the day of, if you look on the Ravelry group for Rhinebeck, there is a printable coupon.
I saw that, yeah.
It's only good for the day of tickets, though.
Yeah, because we need the weekend pass. So.
Yeah. You can buy the weekend pass and the day tickets on their website in advance. If you buy the weekend pass, print 2 copies. That was my thing the first year.
Yeah.
I printed 1 copy because I'm like, okay, I'm going to use the thing. And then they just sort of took it out of my hand, and it wasn't until after I got in and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have a copy for tomorrow. Luckily, I was able to show the receipt to them on my phone.
Well, but
print 2 copies. Just
you have an option this year as well to have it sent via text.
Ah. But yeah, tickets are $12 per day at the gate, $17 weekend pass at the gate. Pre-purchased, the day, including the transaction fee, is $10.50. The weekend pass, pre-purchase with transaction fee, is $18.50. So, I mean, technically, it's a little more expensive if you buy in advance, but then you don't have to wait in line to get to the booth to buy it and wait in line to, give your ticket to somebody. You can just walk by the line of the booth. So that's helpful to be able to buy it in advance. They also, if you go to the website, which is sheepandwool.com, there is a map of the festival, including markings for bathrooms and food and ATMs and where all the barns are.
Oh, look, sheepdog demos and canine frisbee.
Yep. Those are near the hill.
Okay. I think I'd like to see that this year.
Yeah. And if you're new to this and you keep hearing about the Ravelry meetup at the hill, what it is, if you look on the map, the area, it is basically on the map, it's to the right of where the sheepdog demos and canine frisbee. It's fairly obvious when you get over there. There's there's usually a couple, like a hot chocolate / coffee vendor and like a funnel cake vendor or something like that. And behind them there's this steep little hill with a fence at the top and benches along the fence. And there will be people generally sitting there the entire weekend. And that's where the Ravelry meetup and the podcast meetup is. So if you want to meet us, that would be where you go.
And when is the podcast meetup?
Ravelry meetup is noon on Saturday and noon on Sunday, 12 to 1. And then the podcast meetup is at 1 o'clock on Saturday. We will be there. And I will be wearing the Peggy Carter hat, so I will be easy to spot. I can't guarantee what else I'll be wearing other than clothes, but because I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I'll probably be wearing the Agents of Sheep t-shirt. I may have another sheep shirt on underneath it or not, depending on what the weather's like.
Yeah, I'll have to make sure I pack my Agents of Sheep t-shirt too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that goes over well.
Yeah, it does.
And I will have buttons, providing I remember to pack them. I will have buttons.
I will try and remember to remind you the night before.
To pack the buttons.
You're happy with them?
Yes.
Good.
I should show them to you, actually.
Yeah, I'd love to see them.
But yeah, and there's lots of other information on the map, like where all the parking is, what the routes are to get there. And actually, if you check on the Ravelry group, I think there is, someone mentioned, I know last year, a back way in. It basically gets into the kind of the same entrance, but you take some alternate roads to get to the entrance, so that you can kind of skip around all the people that are going down like Route 9. You can go sort of skip ahead of the line. Though again, like depending on when you get there, like unless you're going, you have to leave earlier that day because of travel time home, or if you're only going for the day and travel time home, or that sort of thing. Unless you have to leave earlier, or unless there's something that you really, really want, and you therefore have to be there in line the minute they open, really waiting like half an hour, getting there about half an hour late,
or an hour
is not the end of the world.
Yeah, good advice. I mean, especially we find we get up and we have coffee and breakfast, and then we start knitting, and we're sitting in our pajamas, and it's kind of like, then there's 7 of us that have to shower, or 6 of us, and it's takes a while to get everybody organized, so you don't want to be rushing in the morning either. So.
Yeah. We usually figure out, who's having a shower the night before, who has a shower the morning of. We get them, and that's one of the nice things about having a house too, as opposed to say like renting a hotel room. Like someone can be making breakfast. Margaret can be making an entire pack of bacon in the kitchen.
To wake up to a house that smells like bacon.
Mm-hmm. And this year, hopefully, I'll wake up to a house that smells like bacon and cinnamon rolls on Sunday morning.
Yes.
We have grand plans.
I
have grand plans. I'm somehow the one who was into the offering to bake.
Yeah, you volunteered. That's how the grand plans happen.
Yes. But the nice thing is that like people can get out of bed when they want. They can come downstairs. People can grab themselves, a cup of coffee, or make themselves a cup of tea, and like grab some of the bacon from some of the bacon that has been cooking, or whatever breakfasty things we have. While other people are in the shower or doing their hair or getting dressed, and we can just sort of rotate through all those things. And so it's not like if you're in a hotel room, basically it's a bit more like everybody has to get up kind of at the same time because you're all in the same room, and then you have to go down for breakfast really around the same time, that sort of thing.
Just making sure it's not an emergency.
Yep.
Considering, family.
Yep. So, I mean, it just ends up being a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah, because we're on vacation.
Yeah.
It's like, I has no child nor husband. I was on vacation that time.
Yes.
And the fact that I'm getting up out of bed before noon is, says something in itself on my vacation.
You have incentive.
Yes, I have a great incentive that particular day.
No adulting. That's what we've been saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I just realized, like earlier today, I can't remember when, I have those flannel pajama pants I made last year.
Yep.
I need to fix them, because they're really too long between waist and crotch. But if I can get those fixed tomorrow, I'm bringing them to Rhinebeck.
Yeah, why not?
So that basically it's like, fair's over, get home, off go the pants, on go the pajama pants. Stay in the pajama pants until it's time to go to bed. If we're not at the fair, I'm going to be in pajama pants. Nice, warm, cozy flannel pajama pants. Any other things I'm looking to see now? If there's any other things on the website that you should be aware of. Actually, if you look at the schedule for the fair, you can basically print the schedule. You can sign up or log into the website version of the schedule, bookmark favorite things or things you're interested in, and sync them to your phone or calendar.
Nicely done.
So there's also mobile app version.
I was just about to say.
Hello.
They need a mobile app. Just like...
Yes, there is a mobile app version.
Awesome!
Really?
Which lists authors, instructors, attendees, vendors, exhibitors.
So I guess you
schedule,
go
maps, venues.
To the App Store and just look for New York Sheep and Wool?
I guess so.
That is so happening.
Yeah, and so you can sort things by like authors, breed talks, competitions, cooking demos. There's also the cooking demos too. Fashion show, fleece sale, etc., etc., etc.
Okay.
Or the mobile app version, it could also be just like the mobile friendly version. Just to double check.
I am looking.
But even if you bookmark the mobile friendly version, then again you can, register and you can bookmark your favorites and sync them with your calendar or whatever, or just do that so you don't have to scroll through the entire schedule for.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's an app per se. So yeah.
I think that's basically just the mobile friendly version of the website.
Gotcha.
Or version of the schedule. But again, like I said, you can sign in, so you can have your own personal list of things that you want to look for, and it will remind you, or you can send them to your calendar to remind you, or it just makes it easier to like scroll through and see what's going on, or scroll through and see all the vendors and things. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's okay.
I worked today. Let's see. So yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of other things. There's all kinds of demonstrations. There's the fleece show and sale. There's, livestock displays, book signings in case you really want to squeal all over like Kate Atherley or somebody. And then the other thing, actually, well, the pre-sale has now ended in the festival store. But again, for future years, good thing to check out like a month or two before the festival is the stuff that they have on sale, like the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival merch. Because some of that stuff you can pre-order and pick it up at the festival, which can save some time and also means that you're guaranteed to actually get things.
Yeah, I've done that for 2 years now. I really love, like, they do a little nightshirt that's really cute. The one last year actually has the New York Sheep and Wool logo and it glows in the dark.
Cool.
Yeah, so, and then this year it's the different one, so I got it in a pink this year, and I just order and pay with PayPal and then pick it up right at the festival.
Yeah, and that's also something, if you do see something and you miss out on it, keep an eye on their website for like the month after the festival, because sometimes some stuff they will have on there later as a like get it for Christmas thing. Because I got the bag from last year. I really wanted the bag when we got there, basically on the Saturday morning. They're like, bags are sold out, but we'll have them on our website in a bit. And I actually was able to go on their website, and I think I was even able to like sign up for an email reminder of when they came back in the store. So I was able to order the bag in like November and just have it shipped to me. So if there's something you really want, they might also have it there. It just won't be there until like at least a few weeks after the festival because they're still dealing with all the wrap up of the festival. Other things for navigating Rhinebeck or other fiber fairs on the day.
If you're going with a group, have a meeting point.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
It's like taking the kids to Disney World. Like,
Yeah.
okay, if you get separated,
pretty much.
we'll meet by this place. And it's best to have like a place where, pick a spot where you've got a pretty good view around you so you can spot someone, and also where, it's a clearly defined spot. So that it's not like, okay, we'll meet you at barn 26. It's like, well,
Where
in
barn
the
26?
front of barn 26 or the back of barn 26? Because that's how you get people like running around the barn and missing each other in a comedic way.
Yeah. I think for me as well, I've focused so much on the yarn and the booths that I really haven't enjoyed the festival for the other things like the dog, the herding competition.
Yeah, I have never actually seen it.
Yeah, so I think this year I want to take in a little bit more of that.
Yeah, and I really suggest doing, it's the Barnes Festival map. In the small barns, barn 27 is the llama and alpaca farm displays, and barn 28 is the sheep breed displays. They have scheduled breed talks too, which is really cool. Could be really cool if you're like a spinner or something to find out about the different breeds. But it's really nice to take a walk through there, and especially go walk through the breed barn and like see all the different breeds of sheep. They'll have information on them, and usually there's examples of the sheep there that you can pet, and
or ones that you would say, saddle that one up, I'm riding it into battle.
Yeah, this is the sheep I will ride into battle.
This is giving me an idea for D&D.
Yay!
Because we're playing D&D at Rhinebeck, which is going to be awesome. But, it's really nice it's another place to relax a little bit. And it's really nice to just walk through and, see all the different breeds of sheep and find out different information about them and actually, meet the people that care for them and see those cute little fuzzy faces. Like, seriously, if you get me near the baby doll Southdown ones, I'll just be like, oh my god, look at those cute little faces! They have such sweet little rounded faces. So yeah, to see, like, it's nice to be able to see the animals who have given us so much and who we spend so much time working with.
Yeah.
Just, if you're allergic to animals or sawdust or that sort of thing, just make sure you pop a Benadryl first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing actually. If you're going somewhere, I suggest make sure you bring chargers for your electronic things. I might actually bring a power bar, or not a power bar, like not the ones to eat. I mean, but like one of the electronic ones, so that you can plug other stuff in. Because I always find too, the only thing with the houses is like, if you have two people in a room and they each have stuff they want to plug in, there's usually not enough outlets. Especially because I like to have mine sort of near the bed. And obviously make sure you bring any medications, but personally, I also bring Benadryl, not because I necessarily need it for allergies, but because that stuff will knock me out. And
that's a good idea.
And especially considering I know we're going to be staying up late, and we're going to be really busy during the day.
You get overstimulated, don't you? Yeah, so that's a good tip.
It'll help me. If I take one, it's not just that it'll make me sleep for a long time, it's more that it'll help me stay asleep.
Yes, yeah.
So that I'm not waking up a couple times during the night.
Yeah.
And help me get to sleep. I also bring, if you're at all like snuffly like me, I also bring breathe right strips to open my nose, which is always really interesting. It's like, wow, that's what it feels like to be able to breathe through your nose.
I'm going to take my pillow this year.
Yeah, if you're driving down especially,
Yeah, we get a little more room in the car this year, so, because that's the thing that I just can't settle in because I don't like the pillows, so. But the Benadryl tip is a good one.
Yeah, depending on how your body tolerates it.
Yeah.
Again, maybe this is something, just try it before you go.
And I take earplugs because sometimes there are going to be different noises or country noises or things like that you're not familiar with.
People who snore.
Yeah. Or people who snore.
Yeah, so bring earplugs. Depending on, it's not as much of a problem. I sometimes will make sure I have like a t-shirt or something near the bed so that if I wake up and the sun's starting to come up and I don't want to get out yet, I just drag the t-shirt over my face. Because then the light will wake me up. Yeah, and especially too, because depending on where you're staying, like, we've stayed in some like old houses, so of course they creak.
Yeah.
And stuff at night. Or two, like, if you're sharing a room, like, if you want to go to bed earlier than I do.
The room last year that had that giant, like, wardrobe cupboard wooden door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was daunting to look over at in the middle of the night, half asleep. Like, either Aslan, the witch, or Dobby is going to come out of that thing.
Well, and that's also something we should probably, you know, when it comes to planning, when you arrive at the place, plan who is going to sleep on which side of the bed. Because I think last year we probably should have planned that beforehand. Like, you went to bed earlier than I did, and you had the one closer to the door, and to walk around the bed. And I think there was well, it's okay, as long as I didn't wake you up when I banged my foot against something. It was like, fuck! I was like, shit. Okay, as long as you didn't wake up, that's okay.
It doesn't, when I'm asleep, I'm pretty much asleep.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because that was the only thing I was worried about, because you were sleeping closer to the side, and, like, you know, I think I had to get out in the middle of the night at one point, and, like, also just coming in and, like, trying to navigate the dark room without turning anything on.
Okay, fair enough, but there is a chance that I went to sleep on the other side and just rolled over.
Mm-hmm.
There is that chance.
True.
If you need to do that, like, this year, just take a knitting needle and poke me. And I'll eventually roll over.
No, if I know you have earplugs, and I know you're probably just going to be sound asleep once you're asleep, then okay. Then I won't feel bad about coming in and maybe, like...
Because you know us little people like to take up the whole bed.
Yeah. Now, if I come in there and find you starfished on the entire bed, I will poke you. Because I'm not just going to be like,
oh, I'm going to curl up this tiny little ball on this side because I don't want to nudge Maggie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any of the other little things. I should have grabbed my list from last year. But yeah, chargers for all your electronic stuff. Because you don't want to get there and realize, oh crap, I don't have a charger for this. Other small things. I know, we usually just bring treats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to grab like one of those boxes of, you know, small, like Halloween size, you know, chocolates and stuff, because we have different ones up here. So I'll bring a box that has like the Aero bars and the Gummy Crisps and stuff like that. And I've got tea. I might get more because David's Tea is apparently going to release their Halloween themed teas in the next couple days. I think they're going to do. I think they said two more sleeps. So I think it's Tuesday. I have Wednesday off. So if I really wanted to, I could hop down to David's Tea at the Outlet Mall and grab some.
And
but other than that,
what are the Halloween themed
I
flavors?
don't know.
I'm making me guess something pumpkin and something apple.
Yeah, I do have something pumpkin already.
Already? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just, you know, bring little special stuff. But at the same token, like, you know, maybe check with, if you're staying with other people in a house, like, you know, double check with other people and see, you know, what special things they're going to bring. And anything that isn't, like, super special, like, just get it there.
Yeah. There's
grocery stores in Rhinebeck and in Kingston and other places, so it's easy enough. It's better that way than trying to lug, like, all the food with you and stuff. Though, and it also helps to discuss food beforehand so that you know you can get sort of a shopping list decided on, so that you're not going to the grocery store and being like, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, let's just grab this. Oh, let's get some of this.
And then you have 8 bags of potato chips and no coffee.
Yeah, and especially, too, because you're only going to be staying a couple days.
Yeah.
Because it can be very easy to overestimate exactly how much you're going to be eating in those 2 days. And especially, too, because if you do plan to do meals or anything like that, then if you plan them beforehand, like, you can also keep yourself down to, like, a realistic level of how much you're actually going to do.
And that's what we've done. Everyone's been assigned a meal and whatnot, so...
Mm-hmm. So anything else you guys can think of? Other than just, you know, try and relax and enjoy it while you're there?
Yeah, soak up the ambiance. It's a fabulous festival. I mean, it's fall. It is fall.
Perfect.
It is a perfect fall weekend.
It's happy knitter time.
Yeah.
It's basically my Christmas. Like, it is like Christmas for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many more sleeps?
Yeah.
Until we go?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it this year, and I don't intend to buy a lot, but we'll see.
You know, yeah, that could be very much like, so we say now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
After Rhinebeck, we have the video where we say,
but just while we're sitting here, I thought of like 2 things that I thought, oh yeah, last year I said I'd get that next year, so.
Oh yes, the other thing for planning. Plan what you're going to bring to knit on. And don't do that at the last minute.
Yeah, and
because thinking of the overestimating what you're going to do when it comes to food and stuff like that, we all know we do the same thing when we're planning knitting projects to bring.
That's a good point. I'm going to bring a set of interchangeable needles because then I'm ready for anything that I acquire. Because oddly enough, there aren't a ton of places that sell needles at these events.
Yeah, there's not usually a huge amount.
There's, maybe a handful of them. So, Carolina Homespun is one. And, trying to think who else would have needles.
The only one I can really think of is Carolina Homespun.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, I'm never usually looking for needles.
Yeah, I'm often so enamored of whatever I bought.
Just check the Blue Jays game.
Yeah, how are they doing?
5-4 Blue Jays.
Okay.
In the 6th. That's a little close.
Yeah.
Prefer if it was not that close.
How's the debate going?
Oh, I don't know. I can't quite check a score for that one.
Yeah.
You and I were planning on starting Lily Pilly for the train ride.
Yes, we are starting Lily Pilly for the train ride. In which case, that's 3 balls of yarn right there that I need to bring. So I really need to consider what else am I actually gonna.
Yeah, I was thinking, are we gonna bring a soft project on the go for walking around the fair? Because I don't see us carrying Lily Pilly with us everywhere.
No, I don't think so. Especially with changing colors and stuff like that. I don't think it's gonna be quite as feasible for carrying around. The fair itself, that will be better suited to sitting in front of the fireplace in the evening. So I was thinking, I've actually got that self-striping yarn I got last year. And it would be good if I, knit some of the stuff I bought last year by the time I get there. So I was thinking maybe bringing that and just doing a fairly simple, I think it's the Geek Socks on knitting.
Okay.
It's sort of it gives them a subtle, wavy thing when you use it with self-striping yarn or looking for other patterns on Ravelry that are for self-striping yarn that are fairly simple. So that, it's something I can just pull out of my bag when we decide to plop down on the ground at the fair. And I think I might limit myself, or I should limit myself to just those 2 projects.
Well, considering that I'm going to make a healthy estimate to say that some yarn will be bought at some point.
Yes.
So.
I mean, I generally don't knit the stuff I buy. I haven't knit the stuff I buy there. Partly because it's I'm lazy and I want a ball liner to wind the stuff into balls.
Yeah,
but,
see, we have one at the house. A ball liner.
Which is the thought, Marcia and Lexi. But, so I don't know how much I'll be doing of the stuff that I actually buy there, especially because I sometimes need it to percolate for a little bit before I know what I want to do with it. But, I think, especially too, considering, when you are packing to go, keep in mind that you need to save room for stuff that is coming back. Especially, again, if you're taking the train or taking a plane or something like that. Remember, you have to lug whatever you're taking back.
Yeah, we always lose track of that. And then the one year, I did not think I was going to get my car trunk closed. There was so much yarn. And so we finally got it closed, and we took a picture of it, and I tweeted it out, and I looped in Ford, and they tweeted back, "That's a lot of love there. What did you buy?"
Yarn.
Yeah.
Oh, which is the other thing. Thinking of buying things. If you're from Canada, make sure you get
know your
all
limits.
the receipts.
Yeah.
Make sure, double check your limits. I think if you're over, I can do that right now, actually.
Well, and that's a good point about the receipts, because with so many vendors using Square, there are no printed receipts.
Yeah.
So it gets emailed to me, So what I do is when I open it up on my iPad, I do a screenshot.
Yep.
And then it's basically just in my photos. So when I go through customs, I can kind of show my iPad if need be.
Yeah, because that is something to remember. If you are traveling from Canada, you need to claim what it is. You need to claim your stuff, and you need to give them an estimate of how much you spent. Now, like, if you're going for the weekend, it's pretty good. I forget.
I want to say...
How much can I...
For 48 hours, is it a few $100s?
Yeah, I think it's for like 48 hours. If you're staying 48 hours or more, you can bring back stuff up to $800.
Yeah.
Well, dang.
Yeah, duty-free limits.
More than enough.
So looking at if you go to travel.gc.ca for Canadians, they give you ideas for what you can bring back to Canada. There's a notice there. All raw poultry and poultry products and byproducts that are not fully cooked, including eggs and raw pet foods that are sourced, processed, packaged, or shipped from several U.S. states are prohibited from entry into Canada because of avian flu. So yeah, you might want to double check there too to see if there's any particular things you can't bring in. And they'll have the list there if you really want to, because there's wineries in the specialty food hall. So if you want to bring wine home, just double check how much you're allowed to bring into the country. I mean, if you want to lie, go ahead, but that's up to you about whether you want to risk it. Of course, it is a proud Canadian tradition to go over the border, shop, and then, fudge how much you brought home. I think there's this hour has 22 minutes faux Canadian Heritage Minute, which just shows like the 1970s, someone going through the border. It's like, obviously everyone around them is dressed in summer clothes. This guy's wearing a parka and is obviously wearing like 4 layers of t-shirts and pants. And they're like, how long have you been over the border? A few hours, 24 hours. What you bring back? How much you spend? $50? I didn't really spend much. He's wearing everything he bought. It's like part of our proud Canadian heritage. So yeah, maximum amount $800. My budget is definitely not that high. Definitely not that high. Though again, like one of the things I should check on there, but like, again, if you're coming from another country and you're going back, you may want to be careful about what kinds of wool products that are not yarn that you're bringing back. I don't know if I would. I know some people have brought fleeces and brought them back, but I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would just because I don't know how it's more like I don't know how the customs officer would deal with it.
Yeah.
Because it's always up to the customs officer. So if it's like a fleece, like straight off the sheep fleece, I don't know if I'd risk it.
Yeah, I don't know if they consider that like something that could harbor.
Yeah.
Living organisms, basically.
Yeah. If it's processed, it's one thing, but...
Yeah.
Mind you, you could always, if you're staying, ship it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. I think they had last year... Where is... I think they had a mailing point there at the fair last year.
Smart.
Like a UPS.
Yes, I remember it. I remember that.
I did not see that.
That was at the other entrance, the Mulberry Street entrance.
Okay.
Yeah, which is right there. I'm looking around. I don't know if I see it on here now.
It was just a tiny kiosk.
Yeah, but it was a little kiosk. It was like a UPS kiosk.
Okay.
So they had a spot where you could mail things to yourself.
Yep.
I don't know if I see it here, but double check in the booklet when you get there. It may be an option. Or, I mean, there's Kingston and Rhinebeck and stuff like that. Especially if you're staying till, if you're staying till Monday, you can always go to the USPS store or the UPS store. Though, again, for Canadians, just be aware with UPS, they will charge you through the nose for customs brokerage charges. to send it back. Yeah, I don't see it marked on here. So, again, check that out. Shipping to yourself is always an option if you don't want to carry everything. But other than that, I don't know if I can think of anything else.
No, I think that's it.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Yeah.
Yes. I will be hopefully wearing this on Saturday, and then Sunday I think I'm going to be wearing my Pont Neuf with the lacy panel at the front, because it's looking to be the warmer of the 2 days. So
yeah, and I should mention too, technically as of like 12:01 tonight, I am going to be hosting the People of Craft Twitter account for the week. So if you go to @PeopleOfCraft, it's basically what it is. It's a rotating curation Twitter account, like People of Canada or like @Sweden or things like that, where basically like each week someone different is hosting it.
Mm-hmm.
So like for People of Canada, you get people that are like all across Canada, or, you know, Canadians that are living elsewhere in the world, and they spend that week, they get to show you, you know, what life is like in their corner of the world, or their corner of the country. And so I am going to be hosting it this week. So with People of Craft, it's basically crafters can be all around the world. It has been Canada recently because the person who started is Canadian. So it can be anyone in the world. You can show any sort of crafting stuff. And it's just a week to sort of show off, like, the crafting you're doing or the crafting community in your area. And so I will have it for this week for Rhinebeck shenanigans until 11:59 midnight next Sunday. So I will be posting pictures and stuff for Rhinebeck on there.
Perfect. Cool.
Just talking about like Rhinebeck planning and different crafty stuff.
Yes, I need to get my chip for my phone.
Yeah, I need to. That's the other thing. If you're Canadian, Rome Mobility is a company that I had found out about it from Public Blind and go to DragonCon or do traveling in the States. Basically, it is a U.S. SIM card for your phone, and they have like you can have a daily rate for different kinds of plans. You can do like just phone call, just talk, or talk and text, or talk text and data, or just text and data. And it's often much cheaper than you know, whatever your provider may include. So yeah, I think last time I checked, the talk, text, and data was like $4.95 a day.
Yeah. And
it's a pretty large data, and they have pretty good coverage. You can always check. If you go to willmyphonework.com, I think it is. Come on. Load. willmyphonework.net, and you can check to see if your phone will work on a network. So you can check see if your phone is compatible with their network in the States. And so that's an option for if you're traveling in the States and you want to be able to have your phone, but you don't want to have to pay through the nose for roaming or for data charges, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yep, that's it.
Oh my God, I'm right back in this week.
Come say hi while we're there.
Yes, say hi.
And
I may be very tired, so I may not be entirely with it. So trust me, if you're talking to me and I feel sort of it's me. It's not you. Don't worry. It's not you. And it's okay if you come up and squeal at us. It's okay. We love meeting listeners. Again, I am an introvert and I'm terrible at small talk. So again, if you're kind of like, oh my God, did I say something wrong? Oh my God. No, trust me. It's me. Trust me. But I would still love to meet you. And like I said, Ravelry Meetup, Podcaster Meetup, we will be there.
Yes, we will. I'll be wearing the jacket.
Or if you spot us anywhere in the festival, just tap us on the shoulder and be like, hey, listen to the podcast. We'll be like, oh my God, it's good to meet you.
Awesome. So be safe, everybody, and we'll see you there.
Have a good trip, and we will see you there.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. I need to actually get up and stop this thing.
Here, let me hold it. And you go
Here.
do the tacky thing.
Well, I made serious headway on the sleeve.
That's one way
And
to
I
do
drop
it.
everybody before I do it, before I finish. And
Right, now let's see what everybody's been asking me for. Mom and Dad, what do you need?
swipe down to stop. No, I don't want my mess. Oh my god.
So how
Stop.
many people